Stand in the highest reaches of the Himalayas, and you are immediately met by one of the most lethal environments on Earth. Temperatures plummet far below zero, violent storms strip the heat from your body in minutes, and jagged peaks stretch out like frozen knives. Yet, humanity has always refused to stay away. People carved sanctuaries into sheer cliff faces and built ancient monasteries that cling to vertical drops thousands of feet in the air. For thousands of years, travelers crossing this terrain faced a terrifying, isolated reality. A single misstep on these desolate, wind-scoured slopes meant vanishing without a trace into the ice. But those same exhausted travelers returned with strange whispers. They spoke of a secret realm tucked away behind the peaks, entirely insulated from the freezing winds and the constant threat of death. The hostility of the landscape makes the idea of a peaceful, thriving kingdom here defy all logic. That specific impossibility is exactly why explorers have spent centuries trying to find it. They called it Shambhala, a kingdom described in legend as a place of supreme wisdom, where the lakes are pristine and the people live untouched by war, sickness, and human suffering. A highly advanced civilization requires infrastructure and a footprint, yet across thousands of years of detailed cartography, Shambhala appears on exactly 0 geographic records. How does an entire society of enlightened inhabitants manage to escape the view of modern satellites, massive mapping expeditions, and centuries of global exploration? It forces us to look at this place differently. Shambhala operates as a geographic anomaly, a civilization that is characterized not by the physical space it occupies, but by its complete and utter unfindability. This Kalachakra Tantra mandala provides the first documentation of Shambhala. Outer fire rings represent barriers protecting internal chambers. Unlike Atlantis, it remains intact through layered defenses. Its absolute center is a sanctum, surviving because its borders are impenetrable, functioning as a hidden kingdom. It relies on this concealment as its primary defense. It acts as a sealed vault, designed to protect ancient wisdom from the decay and violence of the outside world. This means bringing the best compasses, advanced satellite maps, and extreme survival gear will not help you cross its borders. The ancient texts explicitly state that the kingdom only reveals itself to those who have achieved a state of absolute spiritual preparation. This requirement shifts discovery from physical terrain to the psychological landscape of the explorer. Geography is replaced by internal state, turning the mind into the primary instrument of the expedition. Reaching the border requires leaving behind physical coordinates to focus entirely on shifting one's own state of consciousness. Which brings us to the core mystery. Was this ever meant to be a literal kingdom buried in the snow of Asia, or a profound metaphor for human psychology? Western explorers often set out expecting to plant a flag in a physical utopia, but an Eastern perspective, grounded in meditation and study, recognizes that enlightenment is not a location on a map. The trek to Shambhala describes an internal migration. The sheer cliffs and freezing storms represent human flaws like ego, greed, and anger that must be conquered before reaching a state of peace. By ensuring the kingdom is impossible to locate physically, the legend creates a filter. It naturally locks out anyone trying to exploit utopia for material gain. Shambhala demands that we rethink the idea of discovery. It asks us to stop claiming new plots of land and instead cultivate a quiet, ordered mind. Physical walls and geographic isolation can eventually be breached by armies or eroded by time. They offer no permanent safety from suffering. Shambhala endures if the true kingdom of enlightenment cannot be invaded, mapped, or conquered. It remains perfectly hidden, yet accessible from anywhere on Earth to anyone who has done the work to find it.